Welcome to a surprise Tuesday night jump-in edition of NFL Chaos with Jeremy. Been thinking a lot about who we really going to get in this draft, and I need your help to help me decide. So let's get started as soon as possible. Let's get started right after this. This.
I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
One of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take a Capono, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold? Or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today, you can't get rid of him.
Right, it's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, what would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.
All right. How's everyone doing out there? Matthias Simon, what is going on? What's up, my brother? Matthew Smith is already naming players. Debo, DK, A.J. Brown. Well, those aren't the most likely players to become Jets. One of them might, but most likely, wouldn't you say somebody in the projected to go in the first round of the draft has a better chance of being a Jet since we have 2 picks? I was thinking guys out of the draft, but hey, man, Debo's on the market. You never know. JD might make the call. Buffalo Jets fan, thank you. Yeah, that's right. Jet up the like button, y'all, because that helps out a lot. You know, we know what else would help Buffalo Jets fan. If you to get some of those amazing buffalo wings in one of the best places, see if they like quick freeze or, you know, do a quick freeze job or whatever, put it on dry ice and send it out to me. Go for some of those yum buffalo wings. RAS player, keep it in mind. Okay, I will. And look who decided to jump in and join me with no notice whatsoever. It is my co-host on Wacky Wednesday, Watch2K99. What's up, Adam?
Yeah, no notice whatsoever. I didn't put any makeup on or anything like that at all tonight. So it's all good. Sorry about the sleeveless tonight, guys. Yeah, this is a no notice show. So, hey, we're all about the bonus content. So
you never know. We're getting some female subscribers. They might like this stuff.
Sure we are.
What?
No, your wife does not count, okay?
So let me what did you think? I woke up this morning. I went to work. I almost had a heart attack because I get into the office and I check my Twitter account and I see Brooklyn, New York Sack Exchange created. I saw this. It's an emergency Jets lounge meeting. Debo. And I thought, oh my God, is Debo a Jet? And he's not.
Obviously.
But I of course I rushed into, I went back into, and out of the lounge, and like in the lounge, they were just talking about something and I couldn't get the information fast enough. So I went to my Ian Rappaport page and I just saw, and then as I was on Twitter, I saw something about the Niners saying that they're making him available to listening to trades. So I was like, oh man, it's going to be this again. He's going to get traded somewhere else, or he's not going to get traded, and everyone's going to be mad at JD again and say nobody wants to come here, and it's going to be this whole thing all over again. But what can you do? What's up, Payo Time? But what did you think? When did you hear that they said this rumor of Debo?
Just now. No, I really wasn't familiar about this whole this whole thing. Of course, we've all heard about the Debo rumors a little bit. My comment was, I need-o Debo. But who knows? These things are so day-to-day right now. I mean, the Tyreek Hill saga literally lasted 90 minutes, give or take. Nobody knew anything about it. Then all of a sudden the talks were happening, and that next thing you know, he was traded. So, and again, we know how close the Jets like to keep things to the vest. So I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco is at least taking feelers. But, I mean, in terms of a focal point of their offense, I mean, if anybody, it should be him. I mean, sure, George Kittle's very good, but he has shown that he can be a little bit injury prone over the last couple of years. So for me, if I'm building my offense around one player on that offense, it's not one of the quarterbacks. At this point, Trey Lance is still very early into his rookie contract, and they go through running backs like nobody's business. They'll go through 3 or 4 in a season easily. Yep. So to me, Deebo Samuel is the most special player on that offense. So if they're open to it, I mean, they got to be asking for a king's ransom.
Yeah. I mean, of course, and I don't know. I mean, there was rumors that he's not happy there, but I'm not counting on it, but I'm willing to talk about it. And people ask, and I'm willing to just say, and curious what people think he's worth and what they're willing to trade for him. That's for sure. But Payo Time has one of his great questions. He always comes up with the best questions for us. And there's no way this was planned, right? Because he had no idea I was coming on. This was all just sudden, just out of nowhere. And here is our guy ready to go with one of his famous classic questions. By the way, Payo Time, I usually don't announce it, but I'll say it because there's no point in not saying it. I'm really excited. Payo Time is going to be our guest tomorrow, Adam, on the Wacky Wednesday show. So we're going to get to hang out. Yeah, we're going to get to hang out with Payo Time. And he always comes up with the best questions. So, and that's what's great. We'll have him on, and he'll end up interviewing me more than I interview.
You think maybe I should come up with some good Rams trivia for Payo Time tomorrow night? What do you think?
That would be awesome, dude. That would be awesome.
All right, I'll come up with something. Cool.
So Payo Time asked Jeremy, if you were giving the morning announcements at your school, okay, and got a notification that Debo was traded to the Jets, would you scream to the school? If I was giving a live, because
you got to be careful. You got to be careful about this because you're in Northern California. I'm guessing you're in Niners country. I'm guessing it's now really Niners country with the Raiders gone. I mean, are there still a lot of Raider fans up there? Or
I would. I mean, they didn't abandon them yet. So there's Raider fans here and there's Niner fans here. Those are the two teams. Dominantly those two teams. You see lots of Niners jerseys and Raiders jerseys and Raiders hats and Niners stuff. And the parents, like in my community, are split. So. But I would probably say, because I'd react and I'd be like, oh, well, I'd say big news in the NFL. I know a lot of you are from 49ers families. So I just thought that there was a deal between the 49ers and the New York Jets involving Deebo Samuel. So I'm a little distracted right now. If you want to know more, subscribe to my channel.
Now, I'm guessing it's pretty common knowledge that you're a Jets fan. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, every Jersey day we have, I'm
okay,
breaking out my Jets jersey, and a lot of the 4th and 5th graders, the older kids know about my channel, so I have to hear Jets are trash all the time.
They would probably think you're ribbing them at first. I mean, you got to you got to say it in a way where they know that you're telling the truth and you're not just BSing over the loudspeaker, because the flaming pitchforks should be coming out.
Payo Time is saying,
"Can't have that, man. Can't have that."
Payo Time is saying, get your students to subscribe. The problem is they did, but the school account, when they shut the computers off, the computers reset. So that's why you'll see me jump up 20 subscribers during the day when the kids are talking about it, and then when they shut their computers off, the subscribers go away. So I'd have to have them do it on their personal phones if it was to mean anything, or thank you. So, you're gonna get it, man. You're gonna get it.
I'll come up with something.
Yeah. Oh, right, man. Our man from what time is it in New Zealand right now, Braden? I'm just curious. what time it is there. It's actually probably you're getting home from work or something, right? Or getting ready to go home from work, I would think, because usually around 5 o'clock he's lunch. So now it's been about 3 hours. So maybe he's got an hour or two left at work. But you know how it is in other countries. They don't work as many hours. They're not crazy like us. They're more laid back about the whole thing. But you smell a smoke screen by the Niners, a smoke screen. You think it's just trying to get people excited or something? Or you think they're just trying to figure out what they can get for him? I heard that Debo was unhappy. I don't know why he would be unhappy. They're like making him a star. So 3 p.m. That's not that different.
8
I mean,
hours.
it's the next day.
8 hours Eastern time. Okay, 5 hours Pacific. Okay.
Right. It's the next day, but you still like in like the world of trying to figure out where Braden is in the time zone as far as being able to call him or message him or him be available. You just have to kind of, for me, it's just minus 5 hours. You know? So he must love it. Like when I'm on late nights when at 1 a.m, it's fine for him. He's like, hey, Mike, yeah, I could talk about Lloyd all day, tight end. He's a good tight end, better than Dean. Okay, doing it again. Aaron Donald became the Rams franchise sack leader last season. He appeared in 127 games and had 98 sacks from the DT position. That is like ridiculous. That's a ridiculously high number for a defensive tackle, which is why he's going to probably go down. Would you say right now already, would you call him top 3 all-time defensive tackle, Adam?
Have to think about it. I think defensive tackle outside of Aaron Donald. I mean, a lot of the names I think of, I didn't really get to see play. Like, the Bob Lillys of the world. I think was Mean Joe Green defensive end or defensive tackle?
He was. I think he was an edge, right?
Not positive.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what?
We tend to think about the ends more than we do the tackles. So, hey, Nick, how you doing, man?
What's up,
Nick,
guys?
was Mean Joe Green an edge or a tackle? Or you do not know either?
I'm sure you remember from back then.
I was barely born, dude. I was born in '78.
Yeah, I think I'm young. I think I'm older than you anyway. So, no, we're close. We're like a year apart. We're right.
Mean Joe Green was like a D tackle.
Yeah, so he was a tackle. Okay.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Or we always think about the defensive ends and the linebackers, but defensive tackles, it's not the glamorous position out there. So
they've always played a 3-4 Pittsburgh, so he may have been just at the end, but I assume he's a D tackle because he was like hand in the grass type of guy. And I just want to thank Jeremy. I love the introduction.
You gotta be on time, bro.
Usually Jeremy does like a big build-up. I'm like, oh, I'm on air.
Well, this is one of those surprise shows that I just popped in and did. So I just threw the link out to a bunch of people, just hang out and just talk. I mean, there's nothing else going on, like the panel show is over and I figured let's jump on, warm people up for tomorrow's show. People are all excited about one of the things that they're excited about is Chris Sims. Every time he comes up with a different position, a lot of people start changing their tunes and switching gear. A lot of people listen to Chris Sims. He has a big impact on the world and the draft. And
I met with Chris Sims the summer that we drafted Darnold. And a guy who I coach with does security in the building that Showtime's in. So he sees him all the time. And he's like, yo, we got a youth football organization we're involved in. Why don't you come out, work with the kids during one of our like Sunday trainings in the off season. So he comes out and, I'm talking to him about the Jets and he goes, let me tell you something. Every single person in that building wanted Josh Allen. McCagnon was the only one that wanted Darnold and he got the final call.
Oh, God.
Right? Sorry. Is that going to make everybody drink?
It really doesn't bother me at all because I still think the coaching staff would have screwed up Josh Allen.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Allen would be in Carolina now and be all world.
Means nothing to me. Josh Allen would. Yeah, Josh Allen would have just had a $20 million option picked up, and people like, you can't give Josh Allen the $20 million. He sucks.
So Gitmo Bob is confirming
Just checking in. Green was a tackle. The steel curtain was a 4-3. I believe, like running back, you need to draft a wide receiver each year with the ridiculous
I
salary.
mentioned Bob Lilly. We have to mention Warren Sapp, but I think the main person I had to look at was probably Alan Page. I mean, he's the only defensive tackle in NFL history to win the league MVP. Not defensive player of the year, but the league MVP. And then he went on to the Minnesota Supreme Court. So, even though I didn't see him play, I think the fact that he was named MVP, that's pretty freaking impressive.
How good is it to see Gitmo Bob in the chats again so soon? We thought he was going to be away from.
I was waiting for
Gitmo, man. We're so happy you're back. Obviously, that means the surgery was obviously successful, and man, I'm really happy that you're back so soon because we didn't know how we were going to get an update.
We talked about you last week, brother. We wish you all the best, man. Hope you have a speedy recovery, buddy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm all glad. And
what's the question that we're discussing that we're bringing up all these D tackles?
We were just saying, I'm wondering if because we have payo time here, is Darnold, Aaron Darnold, the best? I said I think he's the top 3 defensive tackle of all time, and Adam
defensive tackle. Oh, yeah. He's top 2 defensive player all time for me. It's him and LT, and the discussion is very close.
I mean, we didn't see the 60s and 70s, back, but I think the only 2 defensive players to win MVP, I want to say, are Alan Page and Lawrence Taylor. I know they were the first 2. I don't think anybody else has won MVP since then.
Oh, yeah, I said before the season,
maybe
Aaron Donald is closing in on the greatest defensive player of all time. With the speed, the agility, the athleticism of the offensive lineman nowadays, and he's still destroying people. Yeah, I know LT revolutionized the defensive position of edge rusher, but man, what Donald does nowadays, like it's a conversation. I really think it's a conversation of who the greatest defensive player of all time is. I don't think it's as clear cut as it was 5 years ago.
I think you got to put Reggie White right in that mix as well. I think he's on the same level.
Oh, yeah. Reggie White wasn't an edge? Oh, or it was same thing, 3-4 tackle?
He was 4-3 edge. He was a
4-3 edge, but they would play him inside a little bit, like primarily an edge.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, my boy Frank Soma's in the chat. Hey, buddy, I sent out your thing on Saturday night, so you'll probably see it on Friday, Saturday-ish. He was a winner of, I believe, Obi-Wan. And so Obi-Wan is on his way, my Staten Island friend. I see his address. I'm not saying any details more than that. He lives near one of my best friends in the world, like probably within a 10-minute drive. So when I saw the address, I got all excited about Frank. I was like, man, Frank is right in the area where I used to hang out all the time and where I do when I visit New York because I stay with my friend, Staten Island. So glad to see you here, buddy. And all right, so Owen shares Chris Sims rankings. Getting back to this, really, we're going to talk about who we think are the most 5 likely players in the draft to be that will end up Jets. Like if you had to make a list of who you think is the most likely to become a Jet and name 5 players. But this is an interesting list. Noticeably, as I read this Chris Sims list, Thibodeau is not on it. So Karlaftis, he has Benito at 5. That's a surprise. Although Benito has a lot of sacks, a lot of production. Karlaftis, okay, I could see that. Super raw talent. JJ, okay, I like that it's JJ because I'm a big Jermaine Johnson guy. Trayvon, who a lot of us are not too hot on. I think Trayvon's going to be a top 3 pick in the draft, but that doesn't mean I think he's good for the Jets or I want him on the Jets. I just think he's going to be top 3 in the draft. And Hutchinson at number 1, which is not a surprise at all.
My dream draft now has Ahmad Gardner going 3 to Houston, Kyle Hamilton 2 to Detroit, and Ahmad Gardner 3 to Houston, and we get Thibodeau at 4. Did you see the Bleacher Report fan mock today that came out? They Bleacher Report will open up the fan vote with like 4 options at each position, and Thibodeau was gone. I think Walker was gone, and I think Hutchinson was gone. And Jets fans selected with 30% of the vote, Icky. 29% of the vote was Jermaine Johnson. 20% of the vote.
Sauce?
London.
Really?
And give me a second. I'll pull up the. I'll pull it up. I don't want to misquote it, but basically, my comment on the Drake London was 22%. Garrett Wilson was 19%. So Jermaine only got 29. So my comment was 71% of Jets fans voting this are complete idiots. Like it should have been Jermaine Johnson with those 4 being the option.
Hey,
yeah, I'm getting higher and higher on Jermaine Johnson really as the days go by.
If it's not Thibodeau for me, it's Johnson. Like I want that speed and Ed. I want that. You can't teach speed. Karlaftis will never get faster. He's methodical. He's a bigger body. Johnson and Thibodeau have speed, and you can teach them how to get off quicker with learning cadences and things like that. But
yeah, and Johnson,
that speed to power combo, man, you cannot teach that.
And I don't care what people say about Johnson, and I don't know how people don't say bends. I don't know how if people define bend differently. Jermaine Johnson is a guy that he could be at an angle. You could block him, and he doesn't fall down. He's powerful enough to stay up at an angle, right? Even if his top weight is shifted from his bottom weight. And to me, that's what I consider bend: the ability to get around someone and not fall down if you're not stood up straight. It might not look as pretty where those guys are like totally bent on an angle, but the point is he's not like these strong tackles aren't going to simply twist him and he's going to fall over. He's able to maintain his balance and his power and still drive towards the quarterback. That's what I love about him. One thing I want to say to Gitmo, if you're still here, Gitmo, painkillers do work. But also, no more clown shows here. We're not fooling around anymore and putting up with the garbage. So you don't have to worry about that anymore, buddy. I know that was last time. Yeah, well, we've talked about that we're not going to deal with any clowning around anymore. No more garbage. Right? I mean, like in the sense of, you know what I'm talking about. Like it's not going to be a ridiculous.
So it's only on other shows I still get asked if I like pickles and if I like salad. But just not here now. Okay.
We can't control that, but we can control that's not going to be on the show anymore. So
okay, nice.
Philly, Skip is just a shithead. Well, tell us something we don't know. And I've now found out Shannon is not much smarter based off some of the things I've seen him say lately. But we'll let that go.
Oh, Frank, man, let's meet for a Jets game. If you're talking to me, man, when I'm on the East Coast, I'll let you know, and I'll definitely meet you. I'll meet you over at Ralph's Ices, man, because when I hit the island, I'm going to get some Ralph's, man, first thing. You know,
that banana is the most delicious banana I've ever had in my life.
Oh, the best thing I ever had was, and to this day I still dream about it. I don't know if they still have it. Cake batter flavored.
They had one in a couple of towns over from me, but they closed. So there's not one too close to here. So I haven't had it in a while, but that was pretty delicious.
Wow. My God. I miss that stuff. But that's all. I'll
be right back. Give me a minute.
Huh?
I'll be right back in. Keep an eye on the bottom. I got to take this call from my kid.
Okay, brother. Honestly, I think the Jets will end up with Breece Hall or Walker in round 2. When you say Walker, the running back, Kenneth Walker, the third. Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy with either one of those guys. I honestly would. I'd be very happy to have. I honestly think that running back is in need. And it's not that I don't love Michael Carter. I'm tired of being the team that if we're one injury away from sucking at the position. And the honest truth is I like Coleman. He's okay, but he's not a starting running back in the NFL if you want to be a championship team. He's not. And Michael Carter I love, and I'm excited about him, but I want another guy that if Michael Carter gets hurt, I want to be overly deep in the position. I want 2 stud running backs. One goes down, you still have the other stud. And if you get Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker, I don't care who's number 1 and 2. Just give me a 2-headed monster. Give me Michael Carter, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Kenneth Walker. Give us a 2-headed monster. When they're both healthy, that's great. If one of them gets hurt or banged up, you got the other one. What do you think, Adam?
You know what? I think one of the things that we forget a lot with running backs, first, it's very rare that you'll see a running back taken in the first round anymore. I mean, Dalvin Cook was taken towards the top of the second round, and to me, he's along with Jonathan Taylor. I think those are the 2 best running backs in the sport today. But you know what? I want a well-rounded running back, and it's not just running well, but also somebody who can catch out of the backfield and block. I think so often a lot of rookie running backs, they don't get a lot of playing time because the coaches don't trust them to block. And especially for Zach Wilson, that's something that we really need to think about, something we need to appreciate. I feel better and better about this offensive line. I think we have a very good run blocking offensive line at this point. That if you were to wait until maybe the 4th round for a Jerome Ford, for a Dameon Pierce, for a Zonovan Knight, for a guy like that, I'm good. I'm good with that. But I want somebody who we talk about, when we were salivating for a tight end for the last couple of months up until free agency started, we kept talking. What do we keep saying? We want somebody who can catch and block. Well, why should the standard be any different with a running back? To me, it should be on the exact same level.
Yeah. And I want to say, I mean, I'm changing my tune about the draft. I'm realizing that JD, certain positions, he can go later round picks. I want the running back there. I want the wide receiver in the 2nd round if we don't get him in the 1st round. But I'll tell you what, if we were to grab Thibodeau, and I know that Sims is Owen said that Sims is really concerned about Thibodeau. That's why he's not in the top 5. Let's say we were to grab Thibodeau, or Hutchinson was to drop, or by some magic because, they buy into the hype and they take Walker. So let's say Walker goes to the Jaguars or Detroit or something. And let's say Willis goes to Detroit, Jacksonville, takes Walker, and then Evan Neal goes, and then all of a sudden we're sitting there looking at Hutchinson, and we take Hutchinson. If we took Jermaine Johnson at 10 after taking Hutchinson at 4, and Greenbean said this, it's not something I'm sitting there screaming, we should do. But I would really get excited about something like that. And the reason is because that would make me start thinking, oh my God, we're going to be like the 1983 Jets again. We're going back to having a sack exchange. We're going to be getting real sacks now, because if you bring in Hutchinson and Jermaine Johnson and Carl Lawson comes back healthy, and we have JFM and we still have Huff, we would be just animals on defense. Oh my, can you imagine the pressure? We would crush quarterbacks, man. We'd kill them.
Yeah, I got to take that in, because that's such a crazy proposition. Because we were talking about with, not going after, say, Icky, because where is he going to play? But and when you first mentioned the idea of 2 pass rushers in the top 10, that's my initial thought. But then again, we keep in mind that, Robert Saleh loves to rotate his defensive linemen. But oh my gosh, how do you take those guys off the field?
Yeah,
Although with our injury history, these things have a way of working themselves out. But again, you know what? You get that pressure on the quarterback. It makes life a whole lot easier for your secondary. It makes life easier on your linebackers. And you know what? If you're hitting the quarterback like that, you're forcing those 3rd and longs. You're getting them off the field. You're giving your offense then better field position, shorter fields for Zach Wilson. And, we're not starting on like the 22 or 23 yard line. Last year, as I recall, we had the worst starting field position on average in the NFL. It's little things like that we don't talk. And that's what happens when you have the worst defense in football. That then hurts the offense's ability to be productive too. So it's strange because we do have so many holes still, or so many things that we could still upgrade. But you know what? If they have this belief that adding 2 pass rushers in the top 10 will make the defense that much better, as opposed to drafting a Sauce Gardner or getting a linebacker or a Kyle Hamilton, you know what? They've earned my trust at this point. I'm willing to go with it.
Yep. So Eminence comes in and says, as long as we get an edge. I agree, as long as we get an edge. But as Nick would say, before Nick can say it, because Nick taught me this thought about every time we talk about this, but it's got to be the edge that hits. We've got to hit. Can't just be an edge that gets 2 sacks a year their whole career.
We don't want Aaron Maven part 2. Is that what we're saying?
I don't want.
I would even go worse. I would go with the guy that we drafted. Yeah.
Vernon Gholston.
Yeah.
He didn't get on the field.
That was bad.
GVH comes in and says, "Are either of you concerned with Walker or Johnson's low pressure percentage? Can that be changed or what you attribute?" So I'm not worried about Walker.
Go ahead. I think you're going to say the same thing I was going to say. Go ahead.
I'm not worried about Walker because he simply wasn't used that way in Alabama. That's just not the defense he played with. So
Georgia.
Yeah, I mean Georgia. Sorry. So like,
don't ever do that again. You can make many mistakes.
Yeah,
I'm a Georgia fan. Don't ever do that again.
You're in basketball and Georgia in football. Oh, okay.
What I'm more worried
I'll
is
root for Carolina football, but I am. I've always loved the Dogs. I love the Bulldog, so that's why.
Look, when it comes to Walker, I'm more worried about the fit with the Jets, per se. And just that the lack of evidence because he is not a pure pass rusher in college. Now, if you decided to use him as a pass rusher in the NFL, I'm not concerned about the low pressure rate like that because he wasn't put in a situation to apply pressure every play. That's not his job. That wasn't how he was utilized. So that's my answer. Well, Nick, you could build on that because you are a defensive coach and know a little bit more than I do as far as the terminology to get more technical about it.
I hate to say this because we just brought up Golston, but I would rather go with a guy, and this is not a knock on Walker. Walker may become a fine pro. I don't want to take a guy off of hope. I don't want to take a guy off of the lack of production, but he tested well because that was the Vernon Golston issue. He blew up the combine, and that's what made the Jets want him. I would rather take a guy who consistently got to the quarterback. I would rather take a guy who was continuously creating the pressure and not part of a scheme where maybe the guys blitzing were the pressure. So I don't have an issue with Walker. I have an issue at Walker at 4 for the Jets.
Agreed.
So I think the guy may end up being a fine pro, and I wish the best to him, unless he's playing us. But I'm not rolling the dice on such an important pick in franchise history. I'm going with a guy that I know and can show and has shown he can get to the quarterback. So for me, it's Hutch, Thibodeau, Johnson.
Now, what about Johnson's low pressure percentage?
I
think
one
year. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just say a little bit, and you can fill in the blank spots.
Sure.
So he only was a full-time starter for 1 year. That's one thing I would point out. But he still led all of the, I think, the top 7 or 8 pass rushing prospects. He led all of them in sacks, tackles, and tackles for loss. So I think one thing is he's still a little bit raw, but I like his makeup for this defense a lot more than I do Trayvon Walker. And I definitely think that he's ascending. I just don't, like I said, I don't see Walker as a fit here. And another thing I really thought, from what I heard, Johnson really dominated the Senior Bowl. Now, he didn't play in the game, but in the practices, he was beating offensive linemen routinely, Evan Neal included, from what I hear. So to me, you do have production. Now, he might need some good coaching, and I think that's where Robert Saleh comes in. I think that's where Jeff Ulbrich come in. They're going to see that, okay, he's already shown some production, and this is a player that we can make a good player, and we can help to make him great.
Yeah. I like Johnson. I like Johnson's his Senior Bowl week was really good. If we have the choice of Johnson and Walker, I personally would put Johnson ahead of Walker. It's nothing personal against Walker. He, like I said, I'll just repeat what I said earlier. I think he can be a very good pro. I just don't want to roll the dice and take the risk here. I would rather take a guy that has that better speed and that we can use him in our scheme better than hoping he works out. But I'll say this. If Douglas and Salah make the pick, I'll trust them more than I trust what I see. And I'll be behind the pick. Like, that's how much faith I put in these two guys running our organization.
What if, hypothetically, Hutchinson is the only pass rusher taken off the board? And let's just say they went with Jermaine Johnson over Kayvon Thibodeau. Would that surprise you guys?
Surprise, yes, but believing in Salah and knowing his scheme and the skill set and the person and the traits that they're looking for, I would put my faith in them to say, you know what, they know what they want. He probably showed them something more, because at the end of the day, as much as we all want to pretend that we're scouts and then we watch film and we learn about players, we don't know the exact traits that they have listed on there. This is what we need from an edge. I did see today that Thibodeau was a captain. So, you know, my cheat sheet always says that Douglas is going to draft a captain, right? So that's a notch on his side. But yeah, I'm not being a homer. Supporting John Idzik's picks or Mike McCagnon's picks blindly would be a homer. Believing that the coach and the scouting department, the coaching staff and the scouting department are in unison, and that they're looking for an exact type of player for each position, and they're not just throwing baloney and seeing what sticks, makes me confident that they've done their homework and that they're not just rolling the dice. So I'll support the pick based off of my support of them, with knowing how they put together the draft last year.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, too, if we were to take Trayvon Walker, I don't expect it, but if we took him, if he was around at 4, because I don't even know if he's going to be there at 4, but if he was and we took him, I would honestly, I mean, and maybe it means I'm drinking too much of the Kool-Aid. Maybe I am. But for right now, where I am with this team, I would trust Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. I would just trust the process.
Opened YouTube. I'm sorry.
You know, I would trust the process and say they saw something in this kid and they believe that he'll be a great edge rusher for us.
Yeah.
But it would be surprising to me, and it would be much easier if they would, if they did something at 4 that we didn't expect, and then Jermaine Johnson at 10, or, something like that. It would be easier to digest because it would make sense in our minds from what we've seen and what we're thinking. If he does, but anytime he does something I didn't think he was going to do, he did that last year. And at first I was freaking out, and then getting to know Michael Carter II and, and all those guys he brought in. Even the Elijah Moore pick at first surprised me. And then I started looking into him and realizing what, oh my God, look what we just got. I don't get angry or anything. I'm just going to learn to trust JD, but it would really, really surprise me.
Yeah, there's, with the guys that we have coaching and scouting and heading those two staffs, there's no more square peg going in the round hole. They're going to take the round peg and put in the round hole. They're going to take the square peg and put in the square hole. They are going to take the people and the players that they think are the perfect fit. There's no more, this should be the guy, or there's no more, we're at 4. You know what? I'm changing my mind. Let's take the 9th guy on the board. No. Their board is their board. Their list is their list, and they are going to live by it because they're running simulations nonstop, and they have it marked down. This happens, this happens, this happens. This is our pick. This is what we've done for the last 4 months. This is what it's going to be when we're on the clock. There's no more, I think we should do. No, get the heck out of the room. You're not involved if you're trying to change what we've worked on and what we've finalized. The final board's the final board, which is good as a fan, right? Like we want that. We don't want flip-flop, wishy-washy selections. We've simulated this for months. This scenario happens. This is our pick. We've all been on board. We're not going with a gut feeling on the clock.
And one of my favorite sports movies of all time is actually one of my favorite movies of all time is Miracle. And early on in that scene, Herb Brooks'
was the movie about Jesus.
Exactly.
That was the movie about Jesus, Miracle.
Happy Easter to all of us who celebrate early Easter. But no, so Herb Brooks is talking with Craig Patrick as they're trying to figure out the roster. And Craig Patrick's listing a bunch of complaints. He doesn't understand some of the decisions that Herb Brooks is making on the first day of tryouts. And one of the things he says is, you're missing some of the best players here. He goes, I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones. And that's what this is all about, looking for the players who do fit. You know, Trayvon Walker might be the best pick for Detroit. He might be the best player for Houston. I don't believe he's the best player for us. And, you know, it depends how much of the stuff you believe. It's like, oh, we have this guy on our chart. Because the Jets, after the draft, will drop little hints about, man, we had you on right here on our board. We didn't think you were going to drop. Now, who knows how much of that is really true if Elijah Moore was like that high on their board. But, you know, with all the mock sims that we do, you know, the player rankings make me laugh sometimes because I'm like, you know, this is just one person's ranking. But if you look at 32 different teams, they have 32 different systems ranking. They have different criteria. They have different orders. They're prioritizing positions differently than we are. So it's all our little interpretations. Who knows how these other teams are looking at the players that we think are great or the ones that we think are just not a player to pick at all. It's fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at the top 10 and ask each team to show their top 10. There might not be two that are identical. That's just the top 10. Imagine the more players you add to that list, the more the odds increase that they're not identical. So there's almost like a sense of relief with this staff in the front office and the coaching.
Synchronization.
I like what we saw last year. The depth.
Synchronization. Finally.
Yes.
Yeah. Nobody will be sitting in the Adam Gase chair over in the corner facing the wall like they're in a freaking timeout. Okay. So when Gase walked away during that first draft in his first draft. So right there, I should have known right there, to be honest. But I was like, they're just having a little disagreement. No, it was a complete philosophy clash. That's exactly what it was.
Which you could say why that draft wasn't as good. And I know people want to put it on Douglas, but what I've constantly say is that when Salah put his staff together, he had everybody write down detailed reports of the skill sets, the traits, the characteristics that they need for each position on both sides of the ball. Now, I said it before, I watch NCIS with Gibbs. There are no such things as coincidences. The fact that our draft was so good because the coaching staff was so in depth with what they require, I expect to see many more drafts like this. Now, granted, we might not have it where 10 guys are contributing as rookies. Hopefully, because our team gets so good that we don't have to plug rookies in right away. You know, maybe just the top ones. But the position battles, the depth on this team is going to improve. Once the starters improve, the depth will improve. And that's when you'll see a team that really starts to improve in the win column.
Yeah. Absolutely, and be able to, instead of saying injuries ruin our season, injuries will not ruin our season because
didn't miss a beat. Can't wait to say we're not missing a beat.
Next man up. So Payo Time has an interesting question about Sonny Mitchell. Was it Sonny Michael or Sonny Mitchell?
Sonny Michel.
Sonny Michel. I both are wrong. Both my guesses.
Yeah.
Sonny Michel is.
Make sure you're consistent.
At least I'm consistent.
At least you got the Sonny right.
Has he been signed?
No.
Oh, free agent. He will probably be a post-draft signing that week after the draft if someone doesn't get that that physical type of player that they want. You know, he's a lot of the free agents now, 2 weeks up to the draft, you're probably going to see that. You're probably going to see guys wait till the week after the draft, or if not the weekend of, and then some signings happen.
So do you see him being a Jet?
No,
it's hard for me to imagine. I mean, I feel like he's almost like a Coleman clone, for lack of better words. I mean, I'm going to pull up. I have a list of free agent running backs here. So let's see. We've got. Tell me if you guys have any interest. Tariq Cohen, formerly of the Bears. No. Philip Lindsay, Malcolm Brown, Darrell Williams, Marlon Mack. Maybe a couple years ago, I would have. David Johnson, maybe about 5 years ago. I mean,
are you talking about the David Johnson that was traded for DeAndre Hopkins?
That's the David Johnson,
greatest running back of all time. We got to take him.
Oh, stellar! Yeah, I mean, I like Melvin Gordon a lot. I've always been a big Melvin Gordon fan, and he's still on the market. I just feel like with the limited cap space that we still have, I don't know if it makes sense to sign another free agent running back. But I gotta admit, if we didn't have Coleman, I would love to get Melvin Gordon.
Agreed. I would rather take a runner who fits our scheme and our running style and plug them in with Carter, Coleman, and then the rookie.
Yeah. Do we think Johnson and P. Ryan are both gone, or do we think one of them survives at least?
Isn't Ty a free agent?
Don't think so. If he is, he's restricted. No, I think he'd be a cap casualty actually. So no, Johnson, from everything I've seen, is still under contract.
Ty's drops upset me last year. Yeah, they upset me a lot. They killed a lot of drives. In this scheme, you need running backs who catch out of the backfield. They need to be able to hit the outside hard, which he can. But the drops, man, they're drive killers. We had too many.
I like him tiptoeing on the sidelines. He'll give you a couple of nice plays here, but he will give you a couple of heartbreakers.
Yeah, he'll kill drives. He'll create a drive on his own.
Yep.
But I think he'll kill more drives than he creates, and the negative outweighs the positive.
Yep.
Nice player.
And I think the coaching staff has proven by not saying anything that they don't think anything of LaMichael P. Ryan. To me, he's a jag. He is just a guy. He's okay. Nothing more, nothing less. To me, he's just a guy. So if you want to have him as like the last running back on the roster, you want to keep him inactive every week, fine. Is it something I said, Nick?
Nick is like Green Bean, except Green Bean is because he's freezing. Nick is just it's called being a dad. So,
that's what's up.
And then Nick's got to have his life.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that both of them are good. Yeah, I still think we got a few cuts left to see. I think Johnson gets cut, Van Roten gets cut. I have not been big for bringing back Sheldon Rankins, but I think a lot of it is going to have to do with if they draft a defensive tackle or not. Because to me, I'm ready to cut bait and say $5.5 million. But if they feel like he can be better next year, then okay, then we'll keep him. But I kind of want to save the money.
Yeah. So J. Cole comes in with the discussion question: would you trade 2 seconds? Okay, 2 second round, our true second round, 35 and 38 for DeAndre Hopkins. He's my favorite player. How long is DeAndre Hopkins under contract, and what is that contract? Do you know?
Okay.
I mean, look, I don't know. I know he's been banged up, so I don't want the next Julio Jones, right? But at the same time, DeAndre, I think still he's not old, right? I mean, he's still some.
He's going to be 30 years old in June, so he's got a few years.
He's probably got a couple, 2 to 3 good years left, right, in the tank.
Yeah, he has. I'm looking at Spot Track right now. So he's scheduled to make $6.5 million this year. There's no way he's only making $6.5. No, he signed a 2-year, $54 million contract. Once you add bonuses and things like that. So he's not an unrestricted free agent until 2025. So he's under contract for another 3 seasons.
And by today's standards, an affordable price, I bet.
By comparison, absolutely. Yeah, I was $42.7 million was guaranteed when he signed the contract. So yeah, but not a free agent until he turns 33. And 2020 he signed a contract extension at that point. Okay, so he's restructured his contract. He actually restructured his contract 1 month ago, about a month and a half ago. So and that allowed them to open about $7 million in cap space. It's a little bit of a complicated contract, but yeah, you'd be bringing on quite a bit for 3 years. So yeah, to me, it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, I'm concerned with the I'm concerned with the guy on his third team. Now it didn't work out in Arizona. If they traded him, like if they offered to trade him, something that would be a red flag. And then just like Julio Jones, it's like I don't want guys whose best years are behind them.
Yeah, if he was a free agent, sure, I would go after him. But 2 seconds for him, no, not when we've been looking at wide receivers who are 24, 25 years old. An AJ Brown, like a DK Metcalf, like a Deebo Samuel. Yeah. No, I'm not trading 2 second rounders for DeAndre Hopkins, who's about to turn 30. It doesn't. The more I think about it, the less sense it makes.
I like that we call him old, and Dark Soldier's like he's not even 30. Well,
he's got a 3 in front of his age.
In the NFL, 29 is now old.
In football years, he's about 76, right?
Well, it's old if you're first getting him. If you're first getting him and you're a rebuilding team. If we were a team that had just made the playoffs last year and we needed to take that final step, then okay, we have him for these next 3 years to make the push. But we're not there yet. By the time we're ready to make the push, he's going to be 31, 32. So,
Right.
Assuming that we're going to take the normal time to completely rebuild and compete. So,
Right. And Dark, doesn't it seem like it was forever ago when he torched Revis down in Houston that one day when Revis's career was winding down? When that game was just so painful to watch. It feels like it was an eternity ago. Yeah, he's not even 30 years old yet. It's crazy. But yeah. Not yet.
I when I trained my dog, it was like every time he did the right behavior, I gave him a treat. And I made a big deal out of it and rewarded him. And when he did the thing I didn't want, I just didn't give a treat. I ignored it. And eventually, all his behaviors started to be the positive behaviors. That being said, let's move on.
I have a joke in mind, but I can't say it. Go ahead.
Glad they didn't get Cooper. Not motivated and not in his prime anymore. Same with Hopkins, not in the prime anymore. Yeah, I didn't have the greatest desire in Cooper. Same thing. Third team is his best years behind him. I'm not sure. I mean, he had 860 yards receiving last year and 67 receptions. That was his lowest in years. And it's not like he was injured a lot. He played 15 out of the 17 games.
That's interesting.
So
that's pretty surprising.
Do you love it when I pull out the numbers, Adam?
It's impressive. I'm going to have to start pulling out the chaos now. Yeah. Well, because all those targets went to Christian Kirk, which led him to getting like the $17-18 million a year that he somehow deserved from Jacksonville.
Zachary, Capono, Wilson is God.
Did you see AVT's reply to his tweet? Did you see that? That was so good. Did you see that?
I'm sorry, which one?
Okay, so Wilson put up like a family photo. It was like him and like three siblings, I think one of his parents. And AVT replies, "Which one is you? Which one are you? Which one you be? Which one is you?" Because all of his family looks like exactly the same.
Right.
It was awesome.
That's funny.
I'm like, he's so right. Just the happy Mormon family. God bless them.
The closer we get to his draft, he seems it's true. Like, this is a true statement by Matthias. Like, the real point to it is there's no rush because there's so much time and people don't realize that. I mean, we were a week into free agency and people were freaking out saying, I can't believe the Jets didn't address this or this. A week into free agency. And people don't realize we didn't. When did we sign? What month did we sign? What's his face? The offensive lineman, Morgan Mosley.
Morgan Mosley. We had Morgan Moses, and we had CJ Mosley.
Morgan Moses. Why is that?
I love it when you pull the incorrect names out more than when you pull out the numbers, brother.
Anyway, when did we sign him? What month was it?
I'm pretty sure that was around right before preseason. I would have been surprised if that was around July. But yeah, I'll pull this up.
Yeah, so the offseason lasts a really long time. Not 1 week, not 2 weeks. So as Matthias
June. Yeah, the end of June.
The end of June. So there's a lot of time for us to add players. First, let's see what we do in the draft. And the great thing is, because we didn't make that trade for Hill, the positive to come out of that for sure is we still have a ton of cap flexibility. So offseason's not over, guys. We got a draft and we have cap flexibility. So we don't know who we haven't added or what positions we haven't or had addressed. This is all far from over. Get some sleep, man.
Takes one to know one.
If Green Bean's not going to do his after-hour show until I think he starts again during the season or whenever he starts it again, why shouldn't I jump and take the opportunity to jump on after the Tuesday panel show?
Well, and next thing you know, Ryan's going to have a sudden impulse to do a late night show, and he'll take away all your viewers.
He's going to take away everything.
Our viewers.
It's going to leave me with nothing.
You leave with nothing. Good day, sir.
You get nothing. You drank the bubble. Here's the contract. You drank the bubble juice in the bubble room.
You know what that could be? The Rams in the first 2 days of the draft. You get nothing.
You get nothing. Out. You don't get your lifetime supply of chocolate.
You can keep your Vince Lombardi trophy even though it's made out of chocolate inside. Okay, we've gone off the deep end.
Okay, prediction: draft trade for to Seattle for DK and 9. That would be an amazing trade if we brought in DK and we still get the 2 picks. We get now we get 9 and 10. I'll take that every day of the week.
Drop 5 picks. I'm in. I'm in a heartbeat for that trade.
Yeah, I would take that in a heartbeat. That's a dream scenario. I don't know if the value, like they wouldn't do it, right? Unless he really didn't want to be there.
I mean, teams get desperate when contracts are running out because they don't want to lose these players for nothing. You know, because they know if they keep waiting and waiting and waiting. I mean, the trade deadline's a little more active in the NFL than it used to be, but it's far and away the most inconsequential trade deadline of the 4 major sports.
You don't want the comp pick. You want to get the comp right away.
Exactly, especially for a player like this. This is not Marcus May we're talking about. This is DK freaking Metcalf. This is an elite player. So you want to get the trade now and get the draft capital, even if you have to wait till next season to use it. You know, you're not going to settle for a comp pick on a player like that. I'm sorry.
But you know what? You know why Seattle would do this? I know what Green Bean is thinking. Because you overpay when you want a quarterback. And if they're in love with Malik Willis and they want Malik Willis, you overpay. Because that's what teams do. They overpay if you're the one picking up the phone. If they're calling us for that number 4 because they want Malik Willis, this is the kind of thing that can happen. They'll trade. They'll let us swap 4 and 9 and give us Metcalf because they want their quarterback. If he's their guy, if they believe he's the quarterback, right? People will overpay. We saw San Francisco trade up to number 3, and they didn't even know who the guy was going to be yet.
How would you like to be Malik Willis in that spot? So, welcome to Seattle. Oh, by the way, we just traded our best wide receiver away, and I know a lot of people love Tyler Lockett, but wow, you're sleep typing again. Way to go, Green Bean.
That good. Not only can he talk on a channel and type, he can also sleep and type.
He's sleeping. I think his beard is doing the typing while he sleeps.
Good night, Kyle. Thanks for
hey, Kyle.
in the chat. He's new to the chat. What's up, man? If you haven't left yet, I'm glad you stopped by. I appreciate it. Make sure you sub to the channel. We'll be back on tomorrow night. That trade
regularly scheduled time.
That trade will happen. I know it. That would be the most awesome thing in the world, Green Bean, if it happened. I would love that trade. What about you, Matt? Nick, would you love that trade?
Sorry.
I don't want Metcalf at all. I'm on record as saying that.
Oh,
yep.
I don't want Metcalf at all. I think he disappears in too many games. He had 11 games of 60 yards or less last year. Majority of those were with Russell Wilson. It just wasn't games when Geno quarterback. Tyler Lockett has been the number 1 receiver on that team with multiple years of over 100 catches. I think DK is a unique talent. I don't think he is a unique wide receiver. I think his route running leaves a lot to be desired for. I think in an offense like this, it's not just throw it deep and chuck it up or use him as a red zone threat. If you're going to give up the capital for him and you're going to have to pay that contract, I need pristine, elite route running. And he just doesn't do that for me. His routes leave a lot to be desired for. It's almost like street ball at times where he's just like, let me try to make a move randomly and get open. I'm not a Metcalf guy at all. I think it would be a big mistake.
I think that Douglas would accept a trade for Metcalf, but it would almost be like the free agency process. He's not going to overpay. Like, we saw what the offer was going to be for Tyreek Hill, and I don't think any of us were too alarmed by what that was. I mean, I think most people thought that it was a pretty impressive trade for what it was going to look like. He's not going to overpay for Metcalf. Now again, I would want him. For that particular trade that we just saw, I'm more than willing to go down 5 spots and take a chance on him. To me, it is absolutely worth it to do that. But Yeah, I definitely think that Samuel or Brown would be a preference if Mike LaFleur has a say on this. I do wonder how involved Robert Saleh really is with the offense, though. I wonder what his opinion is on this. What is he saying? Yes, this is a player I want, or is he saying, "Well, what do you think, Mike? What do you think, Zach?" I'm curious just how involved Saleh really is with offense personnel and who he thinks is going to fit.
Agreed. Like me, as soon as the rumor came out and we all thought Seattle was going to be selling off, I would have rather gone and got Lockett. I would have made an offer for Lockett instead. I know he's 29. You get him. He's got 2 years left on his deal, around 16 or 17 million, which is a deal the way receiver money is going out nowadays. And then you draft somebody long term, and you have 2 elite route runners like Lockett and Moore on your team. That's very, very hard to cover on the back end, especially with how loose the receiver rules are. You can't bump anybody anymore. You can't even breathe on them if they get more than once the ball snaps. You can't even make eye contact with them. Yes, Lockett had 8 TTs, DK had 12. Now do receptions over the last 3 years.
I mean, Lockett's going to be 30 in September also. I mean, is he old in the same way that DeAndre Hopkins is old?
I think Lockett is a very, very good receiver.
Oh, he is very good.
Lockett
No, not taking that away from him, but is he already peaked? I guess that's my question.
I don't think so. I mean, he hasn't shown any signs of slowing. He's
11.75.
I would much rather have him at 16 and 17 million than give up draft capital and give $25 million a year away.
Yeah, I mean, the last 4 years.
More, right? Or more the way the contracts are going. That might be the starting point.
Yeah, he's definitely been getting – he has been getting better and better. In the last 4 years, it's been 10 touchdowns, 8, 10, 8. The yardage has been 965, 1,057, 1,054 when he had 100 catches. Last year, he had a lot fewer catches. So
you do Lockett?
Yeah, Lockett. I'm talking about Tyler Lockett. Yeah, so 2020, he went from last year, he went down from 100 catches to 73, but his yardage went up from 1,054 to 1,175. So the average yards per catch went up by about 5.5 yards per catch. So, so his role changed. He wasn't catching as much, but when he did, he made it count.
Yeah, he was more of a deep threat.
He's been steady. Yeah,
So Green Bean says that DK got 75 catches and Lockett got 73 in 21.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it's close.
They're both pretty freaking good.
So, excuse me, while we're on the subject of wide receiver, if I give the puppy a treat for discussion question: Olave or Drake London? Is probably what he's trying to say. Olave or Drake London? If you're going to pick a wide receiver at 10, if you were going to, let's say we got our edge and that was what you decided to do. Or if they were both there at 35, or we traded up, who would you guys rather see, Olave or Drake London, become a Jet?
I would go Olave off of the route running. I know some people have disagreed with this. I look at Drake London as a bigger threat in a more vertical offense with passing the ball downfield, like what Seattle ran, with Metcalf and Lockett, what Tampa Bay runs. I love Olave's out running. I think Wilson's a better receiver. I think Olave is not a bad consolation prize, but I have Wilson and Williams both above. And then I have Olave at 3. I'm sorry, I have Burks at 3, Olave 4, London at 5 for my top 5 receivers. For the Jets, not just random thing, for Jets fits.
I think for me, my first off, these were the two. My thought would be, can we at least explore a trade down on that one? But if I had to go with one, I'd probably go with Chris Olave. One of the things that bothers me the most when I would watch the Jets offense, one of the many things, I felt like just about every game, the opposing wide receivers were always open. Like you wouldn't even see a Jet on the screen, but the Jets never seemed to get open. It always felt like the ball was being thrown to a receiver who was covered or double covered. So to me, a wide receiver who could get separation to me is a very big deal. And I think Olave is better at that than London. I think what I like about Olave, he's that inside-outside sort of hybrid type of runner who I like his football smarts. I feel like he knows how to get open, and that's something that I would make a pretty big deal out of. And I think we say he scored touchdowns. He said like 10 out of his 12 games this year. So for me, I would probably go Olave. Drake London to me is he's fine as a tall, physical wide receiver, but I'm not even gonna say physical. I think he is. I hate to use this word, but I feel like he's more of a bully the way that he plays, where he just wants to overpower defenders. And I don't know if he'll be able to do that in the pros the way he was able to do it in college.
I got you.
There's your discussion question number 2, J. Cole. Keep going.
So there's a big discussion going on still that they were talking about DK. This is what happens when you're behind in the chat. You miss all this good stuff from people. But hey, I go back and forth on the wide receivers, man. It's so hard. There's Drake London. It's the injury, right? I'm not as worried about Jameson Williams' injury as I am worried about Drake London. And it might be nothing. He might come back and be fine, but it's just ankle injuries scare the hell out of me. You know?
Me too. I broke my ankle in 2 places going into the Jets-Cowboy game September 28th, 2003. So I got a plate, 6 screws, and a pin to prove it.
It ended your chance of playing linebacker for the Jets, right?
Yeah. Or walking to the car.
So you're like the original Blake Cashman, huh?
Yeah.
Was alcohol involved?
I said it was at a Jet game walking in.
Oh,
Enough said.
It was a 4:25 game. We were in the parking lot at 8:30 in the morning. Me and my buddy put down 2 30-packs between the 2 of us. We're walking into the game. My ex-wife, before she was my wife, was with us. She had 2 Mike's Hard Lemonades the entire day. We're walking in the stadium. Now, in the old stadium, they had the practice facility outside along the blue fence. 2 kids are playing catch with the ball. The ball bounces away. I pick up the ball. I throw it back to him. He goes, "Hey, try to cover my friend." The ball goes up. I turn. Pop, pop. My ankle just snapped in 2 places. I had low-cut shoes on. You literally watch the ankle swell up and come over the shoe. A state trooper pulls up when he sees the crowd, and like I'm in shock. Like I'm literally squeezing my calf to try to cut circulation off to the foot to try to like cut the pain off. The trooper pulls up, and the trooper yells something about what's going on here. I'm like, I can't effing walk, a-hole. Trooper gets out, walks around the car, looks at my foot, and goes, "Holy shit, get in the car!" he gets like he came out like to like be a badass with me, and he looked at my foot and went, "Oh my dude, the foot was like this." I had no control over the foot. We go back to the car. Now I'm in complete shock. I'm not feeling anything. I say to my ex and my buddy, I'm like, going to the game. I'll just keep my foot in the cooler, keep the car on. I'll listen to the game. My ex works at the hospital. She goes, "He's got to go." She's like, "He might need surgery. It's bad." We're at the Meadowlands. We drive home. For those who know the area, we're getting off the Parkway at Route 27 in Edison to go to the hospital. As we're getting off there, we drive the whole turnpike. We get off the Parkway. My ex says to my buddy driving, "Hey, are you all right to drive?" He goes, "No. But why the fuck are you asking me now?" Like, it was 40 minutes into the drive, and she's taking a survey. So we get to the hospital. I'm in the lobby. Phil Donahue was on, or one of those talk shows. I'm screaming and yelling. I'm laying on my stomach with my foot up to elevate it, and my mother's like holding my leg so it doesn't move. And I passed out for 45 minutes. They couldn't do the surgery because I was so drunk. My blood alcohol was so high. They cast me up, and they sent me home with the smallest, weakest Percocets with my ankle fractured and shattered in 2 places. I was popping those like they were Reese's Pieces. They were gone by Tuesday morning, and this was Sunday night. I couldn't have surgery till Friday. It was the worst week of my life. And the entire point of the story for all the viewers, this is why I hate the Cowboys fans so much. It was that. So there's a pretty bow at the end of it.
Oh, you went through so much. I'm trying to remember all the questions that popped into my mind over the course of the conversation. Oh boy.
Wild day.
Boy, oh boy. You see, you had to wait a whole week to get the surgery to get your ankle I couldn't see the specialist till Wednesday. And the swelling had to go down, I'd imagine.
Dude,
That must have taken a while.
every time I sneezed that week, it was like a hammer and a chisel. The ankle was re-breaking. Every time I moved, the ankle would shift and the bones would re-break.
So which game was it? So I'm trying to think. Jets, Cowboys.
Quincy Carter and Vinny. I believe Quincy Carter was the
Quincy Carter. Oh, yeah. Was that? Wait a second. Did Troy Hambrick run for like 127 freaking yards on the ground?
You got me. I was passed out at JFK Hospital.
I have no
idea what happened.
Wait a minute. I gotta look at. No, I think I remember. I think I remember this game all of a sudden. Yeah, I think
September 28th, 2003.
Parcells was coaching the Cowboys then, right?
Yes.
Troy Hambrick, 127 freaking yards. I still remember this. Yeah, I've got scars as well, everybody. Yeah, boy, I still remember that. Yep. I do remember that game now.
That was the year in November on Saturday night. That was the Joe Namath Susie Colbert game.
Wasn't that Jets Patriots?
Yes, but
that was Jets Patriots. I remember Chad against
no. Later that year, we played the Patriots on Saturday night, and that was the Joe Namath Susie Colbert game. I was at the game in crutches, in a cast, with 6 socks over so my toes didn't freeze. It didn't work. It was very cold that day.
Yeah, and then when you get home, it helped make Green Bean's intro what it is. I want to kiss you. Yeah!
Yeah, baby. He turned into like Austin Powers. No, he did like a woohoo. Like he did a woohoo, like he was at TRL.
Oh my God. It's crazy. So Friggle D tore his ACL in 12, the worst. I bet, man. That's just one of my best friends was coaching his kids' football team. He's a big dude, and he was just walking backwards, and just poof, something just gave, and he fell, and it was his. He blew his Achilles, and it was just crazy, man. It was just walking. He was on the grass, just walking backwards.
It's amazing, man. Whenever you see people, you've heard the stories for years about Achilles injuries. That whenever it happens, somebody looks behind them because they always feel like something jumped up and bit them. Like that's what they always say, like something sharp. I felt like I got stabbed or something bit me. And you see it happen. I think we just watched a game not too long ago and somebody's Achilles popped. Give me a second. Go
ahead. He's technical difficulties possibly.
Yeah. Any good injury stories that you have for us, Jeremy?
You know, the real story I had the one time I was really, really injured was I separated my shoulder when I was, I would say, how old was I? 15, 16. And this is how it happened. The interesting part of it is how it happened. I separated my shoulder because I was trying to make it home in 29 pedals on the bike. So because I was trying to make it home in 29 pedals, I did something really stupid. So let me explain. So we used to, when I was a kid, I used to spend my summers up in the Poconos. My parents, we had an aunt, my father had an aunt that left us this plot of land. So we had this little country house built on it. And we used to go there for the summers. And we were like probably 3 miles away from the beach and lake of the community. It was one of those community places that's closed off, and they have a lake and a beach, and you have to be a member to be there and everything. So it's nice and safe and exclusive. And my parents actually left me there. So I wasn't in Brooklyn. They were at work in the city, and they would just fill the place with food. And here I am, 16 years old, and I got the place to myself from Monday morning through Friday night or Thursday night, because they would both work 4-day weeks and come up on Friday or Thursday night. So they'd leave me alone for 4 days. And on one of those days, my brother and I used to count how many times we'd have to pedal the bike to get home from a certain point. So we used to I don't know, stupid things kids do. So I'm coming down this hill and I'm at 28 pedals. Right. And I know I'm going to need one. I'm going to have to pedal once more to get up my driveway, because that was the rule. You had to get up to the stairs. And so I try to get up as much speed as I can on the hill to make it all the way down the road and turn into my driveway and then do one last hard pedal to make it. So I'm coming down the hill, riding on the road. I'm probably going, I don't know how fast I'm going, but I'm flying. And I turn into the gravel driveway and don't brake because I want all the speed and momentum I can. And the tires hit that gravel and just slide out from under me and boom, land on my shoulder. And that was my serious injury, the one serious injury of my life. I separated my shoulder. They thought they were going to have to do surgery, but then they didn't have to, but destroyed my summer.
I'll give you my shoulder story. So when I was in college, I was playing football.
Did you heard it at the Met game the other day when you were jumping up and down? Jeremy, he sent me the link, and I'm like, yeah, you know I'm a Yankee fan. I'm like, yeah, I'm not clicking on that. He goes, not even to see your friend on TV? I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch, you know my weakness. So then I watched the video. I was like, nice jump rope, because he looked like he was like, it was so good. Good for you, man. I'm happy for you. I had to bust you. And now we're even for me eating the hot dog with ketchup. Now we can proceed as friends.
Didn't you say that we were even a week ago?
We're even again.
Boy, if we went up, if I went up, I didn't even realize it. Now, actually, it is. The clip is on YouTube. If you want to see me jumping up and down at Pete Alonso's Grand Slam Saturday night against the Nationals, I was there with a ton of Mets fans, and as he's crossing home plate, they zoomed right in on me. I guess I was the eye candy of that group. I don't know.
Did you hook up with Dom C? Because wasn't he at the same game? Or was it
I didn't get to meet him. He was with his family and whatnot, so. I know I didn't want to impose or anything like that. It would have been great to meet him, but it just didn't work out this time. But hopefully,
I thought you guys coordinated it, so it was just coincidence you were at the same game.
It's just the way it worked out.
Okay. I thought it was like a hey, let's go, let's meet.
Yeah, it was a whole family vacation. It was a one-day trip for me and Joe, who's the leader of the DC Mets group. He said, "Hey, Adam, I hooked you up with a single girl. She'll be sitting next to you." And so yada yada yada.
How'd that go?
It went. We're still talking. So
all right, nice.
See. It's and this part's interesting. She's a sous chef.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I do have to ask if she puts ketchup on hot dogs, because that would be a deal breaker, obviously.
Yeah, you don't want to mention that. You don't want to mention.
I have to have standards. You gotta have standards.
Now I owe you one again. You son of a bitch.
Did you tell her you were on TV on YouTube? Did you say, hey,
and you know the funniest part? She had stepped away to go get food when Alonso hit the grand slam, so you wouldn't see her next to me.
It's like she knew and she didn't want to be seen.
Yes, because she was able to time it so well. There were a couple of times I was clapping and she would like feel the inside of my arm like this. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little different. Okay.
All right. Whatever, man. Contact is contact. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I think she actually lives in Charleston, West Virginia, so she's a little bit of a drive. It's not like she's like up the street or anything like that. But anyway, nobody needs to hear about that part about my life. So the shoulder thing was I was playing intramural football in college, and we had a pretty big intramural league because our school didn't have an actual football team. So I was on like in this apartment, like we had a building that was made up of these different apartments in it. And I happened to be with a couple of different varsity athletes. I was like the outcast. I don't know how I got in. It's just that I fit in. So I said, I really want to play. I mean, I just want to do something. They said, well, okay. I mean, let's see. They gave me the Rudy speech. You're 5'0", 100 hardly a speck of athletic ability. So they decided, because I could run I could run, and I was pretty shifty. They said, all right, we'll put you at defensive line. Okay. So it's flag football. I get a couple sacks first couple games. It's going pretty well. Then we played the off-campus team, and their left tackle, who I was going against, was the captain of our college varsity lacrosse team. He was like the midfielder. He was about 6'4", 235 pounds. I'm 5'8", at the time, maybe 170 on a good day. He was having fun with me. He like ripped my uniform off 2 or 3 times. Sent me back to the huddle.
That's called rape.
Like he was staring at my shirt. Okay, it was serious. So eventually, like the referee was like, you need to keep your shirt on. I'm like, I'm not taking my shirt off.
We're going streaking through the quad.
This is all true. So then he starts pushing me back, and the runner. So I'm going like I'm being pushed back, and the running back comes in like this right into my shoulder, and I could feel like the pop and that bone, that collarbone pops right up. And yeah, they had to take me straight to the hospital. So I had a shoulder
Collarbone
separation
snapped?
as well. What?
Collarbone?
I think it was the collarbone. Yeah, it was the AC joint.
Or the clavicle, whatever they call it?
Yeah, so even today, it's like I have a hump here on this side of my shoulder, but I didn't need surgery. I had to be in a sling for a couple of weeks, and my roommate had to put all my shirts on and take my shirts off for me, which wasn't I'm sure that's not what he signed up for, but that was probably just about one of the worst injuries I've ever had. So that, at least it came from football as opposed to falling off my bike.
What's funny? I got one more. This is a quicker story.
J. Cole, we are not going on a double date. You know why? Because you still got to find your wife.
It was either the year after 04 or 05. Jets had a Sunday night game against the Saints. And this was before they put restrictions in the parking lot. So 8:30 a night game. We're in the parking lot at 12:15. 6 of us. We were going to cook all day. We were going to play 3-on-3 football before the lot fills. 2 of my buddies, we're not even there half an hour. It's 2 beers in, and the shit talk is already hitting the fan. And one of them says to my buddy Kevin, the one who drove me home after the broken ankle, why don't we let Nick quarterback? You and I each run a route. We'll cover one another. And then the winner gets bragging rights the rest of the day. My buddy Timmy runs a route. I hit him. I'm sorry, Kevin runs a route, and I hit him. And he did a double move, and I laid it over perfectly from about 45 yards. He catches it, he wins. Now my buddy Kevin's got to play defense. And when you're playing as a cornerback, if the ball's coming this way from back here and you have the receiver, you put this hand out and block it so that if you don't get the ball picked, you can still reach out and tag him with this arm. He comes over with this arm, trips, stumbles, arm goes up, clavicle breaks, takes off, opens up his sweatshirt and goes, "Is it moving?" And you see the bone just pop.
My God.
So now in the old stadium, the ESPN 1050 had their radio bubble. They had the Jet store there. Don LaGreca did the interviews and everything from there.
Right.
We're sitting there, and I'm like, now I'm being the voice of reason after what happened to me. Like, I'm like, guys, I got this. We know what to do. I'm like, everyone get in the truck. We'll bring him to the hospital. I go, it's early enough. He gets his x-rays. He gets put in a sling. We could be back here by like 4 o'clock and still tailgate. We leave. The hospital's just forever. I get a phone call from my sister at 4:30. At first, I'm sorry, it was a picture. And you know the old flip phones, it took forever for the picture to download.
Oh, yeah.
I see it coming in, and she sends me a picture of our box of Miller Lite that was next to my parking spot that everybody knew. And she's like, "Okay, I see your garbage, but where are you?" I'm like, "We're at JFK Hospital. Kevin's collarbone snapped." She's like, "Are you kidding me?" She's like, "Should I hold your spot?" I'm like, "To be determined." I'm like, "I don't know yet." We never ended up going back up, but yeah, it was a bad run of games there for a
Yeah,
while.
that was JFK Hospital in Edison.
Yeah,
That's where I was born.
me too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Crazy.
grew up,
Maybe we were in the same room and we just didn't know about it. We're
How old
practically
are you?
related.
When's your birthday?
July 31st, 81.
No, you're closer to my sister. She was March 80. I'm 78.
Yeah,
Where did you grow up in the area here?
So I grew up trying to remember at this point, little Edison, New Jersey references. Towards Metuchen near I went to St. Joe's for high school for 2 years. Went to Woodbrook Elementary, Woodrow Wilson for middle school.
Okay. I know Woodrow Wilson. My kid
Corner
goes
was
to
the
Herbert Hoover.
area. So
Herbert Hoover's over by Tano Mall. And Route 1 there. There's Amboy Ave. Herbert Hoover's like tucked in. That's the other side of Edison.
Yeah, and Bruno's was my pizza joint back then. This was down towards like the A&P, and they had a Grand Fortune Chinese restaurant and a Bradley's back in the day, all those old school stores, right? But Bruno's was the place to get pizza. I remember
Bradley's was Walmart before Walmart.
Yes. I remember I think it was the Dallas-Pittsburgh Super Bowl, the one where Neil O'Donnell threw all those
95.
interceptions.
The one that we paid him $25 million.
Right, and then the Jets thought it'd be a great idea to sign. Of course,
my line for years was, if Neil O'Donnell's worth 25, that means Jim Kelly's worth 100 billion because he lost 4.
Yeah.
So guys, let me just cut in here and welcome a new viewer.
Absolutely.
Klixcha. Clixcha. CLXCH. Welcome. You're a Chiefs fan, and you like what we did all this offseason. Well, it's nice when other fan base. It's nice when Clutch. We'll call you
Is
Clutch.
that Clutch?
How'd you find us?
It's nice when other fan bases come in and see what we're doing, and because we're hopeful that we're making good moves. While you're here, if you're still here watching, I'd love for you to put in your 2 picks for the Chiefs, like who you want the Chiefs to pick in the draft at 29 and 30, I believe it is, or 28 and 29, whatever it is. If you could put those 2 picks in, that would be awesome. We'd love that. Also, we just wanted to let you know, anytime we get a fan from another team in here, I just always want to remind them and let them know during the season, my brother and I do watch parties for all different teams. We do like NFL Red Zone watch parties. So join us for that. And if you haven't, definitely subscribe to the channel. Do me a favor, if you like the content, subscribe to the channel. But I would love to hear your take. That would
be great to see what they think.
Yeah, I would love to hear his take. I would love to hear your take.
All right.
Which
Green beans with me. It's
want?
Clutch. Green beans with me. He says that definitely says Clutch.
Yeah. No, I'm going with it. Clutch for sure.
Like
it says Clutch. I'm blind. I'm stupid. But man, I want Boy Mafe or a guy like.
I figured Traylon Burks would make it. I figured that'd be the guy. That makes a lot of sense late in the first.
Let me ask him a question. How do you, it looks like you're losing Mathau. What do you think about Seen, the safety from Georgia, who I hope to God falls to us at 35 or 38? But I think Seen, the safety from Georgia, would be a tremendous addition on the back end for Kansas City.
Phil, do you just respond to you? I know the name Scotty Philippus country. I actually went to high school with Jay Williams. If you watch basketball, do the ESPN morning show nowadays, he and I had history and English together. So I did know him a little bit. So Jay Williams is my celebrity connection.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I met him once. I actually met him twice. Once was at Breathless in Rahway one night, not like a year and a half after his bike accident.
Oh,
and when my father coached St. Cecilia's basketball in Island, and Jay played for Sacred Heart in South Plainfield, and my dad coached the 7th and 8th grade team, and he saw Jay Williams start as a 6th grader on the 7th and 8th grade team, and I was in high school at the time. He comes home and says, the next time we play this team, you have to come see this guy. Yep. The kid's in 6th grade, and I can tell you, I've seen an NBA player already.
He was that good. I went to basketball camp with him
at 6th grade.
Yeah, even then I could see. And there's another guy, Brian Wilson, who went to one of the Patriot League teams. He went to Holy Cross, and they made the NCAA tournament 2 straight years. And that was and then that school's also produced Andrew Bynum and Karl Anthony Towns, some pretty decent players.
Okay, so we got an answer from Clutch. I like Seen, but I don't. I want Daxton Hill. I don't blame you. We signed Justin Reed. I forgot that they signed people already.
I did too.
Justin Reed and Deion Bush from Chicago. Plus, I think we'll draft a safety. And and it is a deep draft for safety. So Clutch, it makes total sense.
Reed. Yeah,
it makes total sense. You don't have to rush and panic in the first round and draft a safety. You'll have guys like Kirby Joseph, Petrie. I mean, there's
Brisker from Penn State.
Yeah, there's going to be guys a little bit later on in the draft too, right? So
you just don't want him to take Brisker because Jeremy, you want to keep Brisker for the Jets because the thought of his name makes you hungry.
Well, I do like to see the name Brisker, and
he would have a great Nesty. It's Brisk, baby. He would have all with him and Sauce Gardner. There would be pizza sauces and Brisk iced tea.
Every time Brisker did something on defense, I'd be saying, I'm slow cooking a brisket, baby.
He smoked them. That's what we need. Smoke Monday and Jaquan Brisker. That's it.
I saw this on Green Bean Show the other day. You got to do the Howard Cosell. Hey, slow cooking the brisket, baby. You got to do it in that voice. Or do it to Dickie V. He's cooking the brisket, baby.
It'll be awesome, baby, with the capital A.
It's barbecued sauce. It's seasoned. It's sensational.
Hey, Clutch, I'm doing a draft with other people that are fans of other teams to try to get like a mock with a bunch of people. If you're interested in coming on and streaming and representing the Chiefs, let me know.
Can I do the Jets?
I was kind of going to
do any offers for anybody?
No, you got to do like the Texans or something. Huh?
Yes. Who do you take? We take Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah. So Clutch, that's my email. Clutch, that's my email in the chat. Why don't you send me an email just so I'm able to connect with you when the time comes, and I'll let you know when it is, and we'll schedule it, because I'm going to try to get like a Giants fan, a Cowboys fan. I think I got a Raiders fan willing to come on. Just trying to get a bunch of different fans from different teams, as many as I can, and then we'll do like a big draft.
Hey, in all honesty, I know you'll do the Jets.
He's down.
Any teams that you can't get filled, let me know, and I'll step in and help. You know, I love doing the draft. I do the full round one mocks all the time, so I pretty much know every team's need. So whatever help you need, I'm willing to help.
Will you pretend to be the fan of the team when you do it? Will you just pretend?
Oh, you want me to do? I'll fucking do characters.
Yeah, you need to be like
I'll
Jet Central. You need to change your lighting for every single pick that
like you do. Like if you do Green Bay, you have to talk like the way someone from Wisconsin would. You'd have to say like,
just do like your best Vince Lombardi impression or something like that.
Here I am sitting with my girlfriend and my sister, the same person.
Yeah. Like,
wow.
I'll make you do the Patriots, and you'll have to sit there and say, I parked my car.
Oh, I parked my car by the bar, so I don't have to walk far.
Exactly.
You know, for a while I was going to college in Boston and living in North Carolina. Those are two accents you don't want to combine. I gotta go park the car, y'all. You don't.
Nice. Yeah, man. Going back, I grew up in off of Wood Avenue.
Okay.
Oh.
You know, there's Oak Tree Road and New Dover Road.
Definitely know Oak Tree Road.
And then there's Island, all the West streets there. I grew up in that block of Island.
Oh my gosh, we're at 5 minutes apart. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Pretty wild, man.
I was going to say that Super Bowl. So Bruno's was my pizza place. I took down 6 slices of pizza during that Super Bowl of a 16-inch pizza. I was just, nice. I could take pizza down like nobody's business back then. Yeah.
Payo time, you're already set up, man. You don't even have.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. You're in. You're
locked
in.
Choice.
Make him the 49ers fan. No, never mind. Just sabotage him.
No, I got a 49ers guy. My friend Jake.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They don't have a first round pick.
Exactly.
They don't even have a first round pick.
You got them don't have a first round pick.
We're gonna do a full draft. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nick, did you go to JP Stevens or? Yeah, we're getting a question. Did you go to JP Stevens or a different?
I went to Colonia since I lived in Woodbridge.
Colonia. Oh, okay.
Even though I was in Island, my section of Island went to Colonia High School.
Got it.
Guys, I got to read this because this is funny but on topic and appropriate. I'm going to make a channel, J. Cole, the Steelers fan. Maybe I'll get back on the stream.
I am all for anyone who makes fun of Steelers sandwiches. If you want to get back in good graces, you definitely make fun of Steelers fans. Like paint your body black, white, and gold and dance as a Steeler fan, you're back in good graces with me, buddy.
Jeremy, you know that time when your students get off the computer and the subscribers and the watchers, it plummets? Same thing would happen in that particular spot.
Yeah. Green Bean could be the Baltimore Ravens because he could have his wife with them, saying what she, giving him information and telling him what to pick. Or she could just be on it if she wants.
Grandizer could do the Dolphins.
Yeah, we got Grandizer, and we got I forgot his name, but we got a Jaguars guy, right? Tobin.
Aiden.
Oh, Aiden, that's right. We got Aiden to do the Jaguars. Yeah. So yeah, man, we could if they want to come on. I don't know if they're all going to be willing to come on. Some people don't like the camera, so.
While we're doing impressions, I would like to do a quick tribute to an entertainer who passed away today, Gilbert Gottfried. Okay. One of the best lines I ever heard on Hollywood Squares. The question was, what should you do about a hairy back? I usually close my eyes and imagine she's wearing an alpaca sweater.
That's good,
I just read that on Twitter 20 minutes ago. I was in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's man. I that's one of the voices I can't do. I try to do a lot of voices. That one I can't even try to do.
Oh no, you'll sound hoarse for a week. It's amazing that he did it.
Oh my god! If you want
his regular voice,
he could do a roast like nobody's business. Like the way he roasted Roseanne, the roast of Roseanne. You could find it on YouTube. Oh my! The imagery he would come up with that is so graphic. Oh my goodness!
Yeah. I wonder if Green Bean knew him. Green Bean has.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Green
he
Bean
was
knows a
very easy
lot.
to like.
Green Bean knows a lot of the comedians. Like, he used to run with a lot of them. First thing I asked him was, I go, "Did you know Artie Lang?" And he just said, "Of course I knew Artie Lang."
Yeah, Artie. Yeah.
Why are we talking
We
about
met me
Artie
in
in past
Roswell.
tense? Wait, why are we talking about Artie in past tense?
No, I
He
said,
still
"Did
knows
you
him.
know?" No, he still knows him, but I don't think they talk.
I got you.
But they
You
used
got
to.
me nervous. I'm like, Artie too? I'm like, no.
Oh, Clutch is getting us back on football again. Oh man, we're
Yeah,
on such a hot streak.
I'm going to speak first on this because I'm very passionate about this.
I saw your tweet today.
Nick,
Go ahead, brother. Tear it up.
Yeah, Nick.
What did I do?
I'm going to bow out on this one.
This is what I think about Makai Beckton. Makai Beckton showed promise to be an all-pro offensive tackle in his rookie year. He had an amazing rookie year, and was looking like everything we ever dreamed for him to be. And then season 2, and I know there may have been some issues, things that some people didn't like, but overall, he was great overall and showed amazing potential. Pancaked a lot of people, super excited about him. And then in season 2, one of our players, Greg Van Rotten, got thrown like a rag doll onto his leg and dislocated his knee. And for some reason, the world turned on Makai Beckton and acted like it was his fault. And he's injury prone, and he's lazy, and he's overweight, and he's this and he's that. My thoughts on Makai Beckton personally is this. This is what I think, and I could be wrong. What I think is Makai Beckton has a giant chip on his shoulder. I think he's wearing a shirt that says Big Bust.
Changed his Twitter name to that too.
Right, and
Big Boss 77 is now his Twitter handle.
His Twitter name is
yes.
Big Bust. Okay, and his film of him carrying 400 pounds on his shoulders, and he doesn't look happy. I think Makai Beckton is going to come back and absolutely dominate and be a top tackle in the league. That's what I think, providing he stays healthy.
Agreed. Agree with everything you said. Like he's got I think mini camp starts this week, or is it next week for us? OTAs. Is it this week?
No, after the draft. OTAs.
No, we're before, I think.
Oh, here he is.
Last year, because Zach Wilson was at OTAs last year, remember?
There's
like after he was
drafted. Let me double check it. I don't want to be misquoted.
Because maybe there's one before the draft, but I mean I remember Zach.
I think there is, because I think we spoke about looking at Beckton and getting a visual on him and knowing, all right, is he committed? Can he go, or do we have to have a replacement plan? Give me a second. It's off season. But I really
I like Clutch, man. Clutch, man. I hope you become part of this channel, bro. Come back, hang out all the time, bro. Because I like what you're saying, man. And I'll say nice things about the Chiefs all the time, man. Patrick Mahomes, man. If Zach Wilson could be 70% of him, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, so. April 18th it starts. Off-season program starts April 18th.
April 18th.
Yeah. I'm pulling it up right now. I'm going through. Teams with returning head coaches like the Jets can begin off-season workout programs on April 18th. Teams with new head coaches can start April 4th. So last year, we started 2 weeks earlier because when you have a new head coach, they give you implementation time with the new systems. This year, it's April 18th. So we can have Beckton in the building, and we can look at him and we can assess what's the plan.
I'm not worried about his weight. He's working out hard this offseason. Yeah, he looks great. He has a nutritionist. I don't think he's doing all this to come back and then right before, like in the next 2 months from now, 3 months, is going to suddenly put on weight. I think he's going to cut. Yeah. He's getting into the best shape of his life. And you know what?
Which only makes us better, right?
Kudos to Robert Saleh for saying he has to earn his spot.
Yep.
Because I think that lit a fire under his ass, and I'm excited for him to come into camp lean and ready to go.
Yeah.
And I like what Clutch is saying. Surrounded by great players, Elijah, Lakin, having great players around him is going to help too. When you're part of a championship type unit, it makes you more motivated to be great and push yourself.
Absolutely. And one of the things we discussed recently on the show, now that AVT is moving over to the right, do you keep Beckton with him, or do you keep Fant on the right now? Because Fant and Vera Tucker had the whole season together last year. On the left side, do you say, all right, now we'll put Fant and Vera Tucker together, who played very well on the left side, switch them completely to the right, and now you have a veteran like Tomlinson next to Beckton. to help bring him along. He was a mauler in the run game. Nobody can deny that.
Well, that's
His pass
why
blocking needs a little bit to be desired for. So maybe having a good proven veteran in there next to him will help with stunts and other things. So
I would love.
No, AVT is moving to right guard. We
Yeah.
signed Blake and Tomlinson. I just saw Clutch come up with the question.
Oh, okay.
AVT is moving to right guard. He played left guard last year, but Tomlinson has played left guard almost his entire career. So they're going to move Vera Tucker to right, which wouldn't be bad to keep Fant there with him. So
Well, he worked great with Fant. And then
exactly, they got good chemistry.
Who better to put Beckton with than a veteran,
a Pro Bowl veteran, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I saw Friggle D asked a question earlier. I was at Fox and the Hound when Anthony Davis from Piscataway got drafted by the 49ers. I was 20 feet away from him when the call came in and the family went nuts. Most of my football watching, I did at back in the 2000s and the early teens. I did at Butch Cole's over in Rahway. But I saw him asking about if I went to Shannon Rose. We had my ex-girlfriend's 40th surprise birthday party there. And then like a week later, it was closed. So like we went there a lot, but then all of a sudden they closed like out of the blue.
I only got so many stories, man. I moved out when I was 16. Then I moved to Chicago. So
Nice.
I didn't have much of a social life when I was growing up in Jersey, unfortunately. A bit of an outcast.
All right. I'm
What
out.
was there was one question on there earlier that there was like one of the things you highlighted that got my attention. I forgot which one it was, but there was something that was there a moment ago.
About Joe Douglas.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 back. There was something I wanted to respond to, but I can't remember.
Hey, Cole, the Steeler fan, he created a Steeler YouTube already.
I know. This one?
Okay, yeah.
No,
Yes,
it's got a Steeler photo.
Here's
J.
all you
Cole
need to
actually
know.
created a Steeler profile already.
And I would have put up that chat, but he had to ruin it right at the end with that last little piece of that.
I know. I saw it. You know what's funny?
All you need to know is that PFF had Greg Van Roten rated higher than Elijah Vera Tucker. So if anything proves how inept PFF is, that's all the evidence you need.
They
right
also
there.
have me rated faster than Usain Bolt. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
and they also think that Gitmo Bob likes mock drafts.
Yeah. Loves them. I'm going to split. Jeremy, I just want to update you now with the addition of J. Cole Steelers Fan Podcast. I think you have about 425 subscribers. 400 of them are J. Cole accounts. So we gotta branch out a little bit.
Well, I hope that's not true, but
Would it shock you?
I think he's probably.
How about this?
I think he's probably.
Adam, how about this? J. Cole is actually Jeremy.
Oh.
Well, in all fairness, we do know at least J. Cole is his son. In all fairness.
Yes. All right, gentlemen. Have a good night. Thank you for having me.
Thanks,
And,
man.
See you, man.
I'll talk to you
take
guys.
care,
Be good. Thank you, all the viewers. Be good, guys.
All right. See you later.
Look, wait before you go. Watch. Look at this. He fixed it. Did I do a draft? Hey, J. Cole. from Steelers
Look
It's
at
got
Fan.
to work in the morning, man.
Look at the latest comment.
Matthew Smith, Jake. He can't even spell it right for crying out loud.
All right. Good night,
Matthew
guys.
Smith,
Good night,
J.
everybody.
Cole is everyone. Hey, Matthew, is J. Cole everyone or is everyone J. Cole?
Yeah.
Got to think about that.
This is becoming too philosophical for me. I'm too tired. It's getting late.
Hey, at least it's still Tuesday for you. That's all I know.
Yeah. That's true. It is still Tuesday. Oh,
All right, so tomorrow we're going to have Payo time on, so that's certainly going to be fun. And yeah, what else we have planned for tomorrow that we can preview for our audience tonight?
I think that I named the name of the show. Why the Jets could finish. Like, why would the Jets finish with only 4 to 5 wins? So just like last week, it was why would they make the playoffs? This week, it's why. Like, in other words, if in a year from now the Jets only won 4 or 5 games in this upcoming season, what would be the reason? So we're going to talk about the reasons that would cause that to happen. Why the Jets would have only won 4 to 5 games. So we're going to go through all the make our points on why we think that would have happened. And we'll also be fielding questions from the chat and from Payo Time, who will be our guest. He always asks the best, most entertaining questions. Plus, if you want to ask Payo Time any questions about the Rams, there'll be an opportunity to ask him questions about the Rams. Again, people who haven't been on when he's been here in the past, if you want to ask about the process of how they built a Super Bowl team, is he worried about the future? Any of those questions, Payo Time is happy to answer them. And that will be at 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. So we'll be back on at that time. I'm excited to see a lot of you. Hopefully we'll have even more people here tomorrow. Adam will, of course, be here. And then we'll be back, of course, Friday night for the Friday night hangout. So I hope everyone has a great rest of the week.
Good seeing everybody tonight. But it was a little impromptu show, but it was a lot of fun and there was a lot of chaos, just the way we would all want it.
So again, everybody, thanks for coming and take care. We'll see you soon.
Oh yeah, go. Amazing, that's my boy. Breaks away from a sack and completes the pass for first down. Kittle just may have made the most amazing catch. He fights for the first down and gets out of bounds too. It's no good. Overtime. Oh, what a catch. How do you drop that? What are you, Jamal Adams? Touchdown. This is a touchdown all the way. He reached over the pylon. San Francisco beat Cincinnati.